you have boiled your veggies and you are not allowed to add any spice, only salt, but you have forgotten to add salt as well. Hi, how are you all doing? Welcome to Her Endless TBR. Here I talk about my endless love for books. And if you are like me, if you love books as much as I do, then please subscribe to my channel and be part of this beautiful community where we just gush about our favorite books and sometimes rant about our least favorite ones. Today I'm going to talk about my May June reading wrap up. I have read 13 books in total, and 6 of them were in English. And I'm going to talk about only those books because I have another Bengali channel where I talk about Bengali books in Bengali. So if you are a Bong like me, then please subscribe to Sharmishta and Books where I talk about my Bengali readings. I must say my May June reading was not so impressive because I was sick half of the time and I was unable to finish the books that were on my TBR. But still, I love the books I have read. I have listened to two audiobooks, and one was good, one was not so good. So, we are going to talk about all of them here. So, let's get started. The first book I have finished in the month of May was Night Shift by Stephen King, and I must tell you, I am utterly bewildered by his penmanship because this is one of those rarest occasions where I loved each and every story from a short story collection. So, in this book, Stephen King portrays ordinary people and ordinary, mundane, everyday objects like trucks, laundromats, lawnmowers. All these apparently innocent things are turned into walking nightmare. All credit goes to Stephen King's creepy imagination. It's just so good. I love horror. I love reading horror, and I think writing horror is one of the toughest job in writing because to create that ambience, to create that feeling of foreboding is very difficult for a writer to do. And now I know why Stephen King is considered the king of horror writing because it's just amazing. It's just an experience to read his books. His imagination is so dark and twisted that every time you read a story, you get this sense of foreboding and the terror. It just creeps in through the cracks of ordinary life. And he makes all these bizarre things feel so realistic that I got chill every time. And sometimes I just jumped at random sounds because I was so absorbed in the world he was building. So, yes, if you want to read something creepy, something airy this year, you must pick up Night Shift. And I can't wait to read his chunky novels. I have always been fascinated with Stephen King's popularity, and he is kind of a modern classic right now. I'm just so excited to discover my new author. Sorry, I had to stop shooting because today my neighbors are extremely loud and I am getting distracted every time. So we are changing the frame and I am moving to my next read. And this is another surprise. I didn't expect to love this book so much. I read Sally Rooney's Beautiful World, Where Are You? This is my first Sally Rooney book, and I am amazed how much I love this book. To be honest, I was very skeptical about picking up her book because of all the buzz around her. And she has this polarizing opinion in book community. You either love her or hate her. And I'm so grateful to find myself in the former category because I absolutely loved this book. So we are following four people. Mainly, we are following these two best friends, Alice and Eileen, who are navigating through their life. And the story is told in a mix of third person narrative and the email exchange, which are deeply personal between Eileen and Alice. And these emails are gorgeous. And trust me when I say Rooney delicately weaves in love, politics, romance, art, religion, music, literature, everything in a way that you feel like you are actually eavesdropping the conversation of real life people. And that's the beauty of her writing. It made me feel so seen. I never thought is possible. And sometimes you have these feelings that you feel like they are very unique to you. You feel nobody would ever understand what you are feeling or what kind of complexity your mind creates, and you feel like if you tell someone, they will laugh at you and tell you that these are not real problems, these are not real issues, but they are in reality deep rooted existential dread that you feel every day, but you have nobody to talk to. If you are someone like that, you would love this book, because seeing it, I felt like this is exactly how I think, but I wouldn't be able to put them together in such a beautiful way, the way Rooney has done. And these characters, they are raw, they are full of emotions, they are vulnerable, they are flawed, and that's what make them so human and real to me. And I can see myself in each of them, except for Felix. He is the least favorite character of mine in this book because he has some problems. But well, that's the point. You are not going to love everybody in this book, and it's not about presenting likable, fluffy, pink characters. These are real people, and things they feel, they care about are so real that it makes you care for them. And I have never read Sally Rooney before, so why did I pick this book up and not her first two books, which are Conversation with Friends and Normal People? The reason of me picking up this book is an interesting story, and I have to tell you briefly. If you have discovered my video going through the rabbit hole of booktube, then you have definitely heard about Jack Edwards. And I was reading this page he has just posted from this book, and I was absolutely in awe with the writing and the substance of the book, and I immediately decided to buy this and read this. But this happened in 2022. I didn't pick this up for 3 years, and I am so glad that I have finally finished it. The page he has posted was so beautiful and so soulful. Eileen was telling Alice that no matter how much we care about this world, politics, and how everything seems so dark and bad for the society, at the end of the day, with our limited power and with our limited capacity, we only care about the people we love. And sometimes that thought are looked down upon, but it shouldn't be, because when someone is in their deathbed, the only thing they want is to be around the people they love. And even when the world is crumbling down, the only thing that matters in life is what we casually say, breaking up and getting together. So that stayed with me, and that thought resonated with me so much that made me look at life in a different way. And I'm thankful to him and to Sally Rooney. I have underlined many pages from this book, countless pages, and I don't know, I just find this extremely fascinating how without a concrete plot she has created this world of four ordinary people and made me care about them so much. Beautiful, beautiful book. I have rated this 5 star, and I just want to rate this like 6 stars out of 5. That's how much I love this one. Next up, I have a classic, and this is the only classic I have read in these 2 months, and it's A Room with a View by the OG E.M. Forster. I love E.M. Forster's writing so much. He's one of those authors who are just the perfect person for me, and I would love to have a cup of tea with someone like E.M. Foster and just retrospect about life and listen to them talking about anything like literature, philosophy, music, anything. First of all, let me show you this beautiful edition. This is Penguin English Library. I just love reading classics in this edition because they are so floppy. You can see how floppy they are, and I just love the font style. everything about these books are so great. And I have to show you something else also. Um, Look at the beautiful bookmark that goes so well with my book. So this bookmark is partly made by me. This is a jewelry card made by an independent artist and a seller. Um, she gave me earrings in this card, and I took this out and I attached this string, this leafy string with this, and I punched a hole here, and I made this my cute DIY bookmark. And this bookmark goes so well with the book's theme. Coming back to the book, we are following Lucy, and with her cousin, she is traveling to Italy and finding herself, if that makes any sense, because she has been raised in a very orthodox and strict Edwardian English culture. And here she can breathe, she can actually allow herself to feel things, to experience things that are forbidden in her culture and society. Here she meets George, who is not the ideal man for her, considering her societal standard and the way she has been taught to dislike men like him. But she feels this attraction towards him, and she gets drawn towards his charisma. And I just love their chemistry. The yearning in this book is insane. The chemistry between these two characters, even when they are not talking to each other, even when they are in the opposite corner of the room, you can feel the tension, you can feel the heat. And this book actually made me dream about Italy. I was in Lucy's place in my dream, and in my lucid dream, being Lucy, you see what I did? In that dream, I was experiencing life. I was admiring the museums, the art galleries, everything there. When I woke up, I felt so wonderful because lying on my own bedroom, reading a book gave me such beautiful experience, which could have never been possible if I was not reading this book. And this is why I love reading so much. You can't get this type of feelings from any other format of recreation. Yes, you can't. This is my third E.M. Foster. I have read Where Angels Fear to Tread and A Passage to India. I am his huge fan, and he never disappoints. I just love this book. Just screams spring, and I picked this up during the early summer days, which was perfect. Next up, I have a special book because this book made history and won the 2025 Booker Prize, being the first short story collection to win the prize and also being a translated book which was originally written in Kannada. I'm talking about Banu Mushtaq's Heart Lamp, and this is translated by Deepa Vasti. I feel so much pride as an Indian reader, and a regional book written in the original language, which was later translated in English and which talks about Indian Muslim women who belong to minority. No feeling can beat that joy and happiness I immediately felt when I have heard Banu Mushtaq has won the Booker Prize. I loved this collection. These are hard hitting tales about Muslim women who are oppressed by the society and also by the men in their families. And they are not just victims here, they are fighters, they are survivors. They rise from the ashes like freaking phoenix. Not just about their sufferings and how they go through all these tortures, all these misogynistic societal rules, but it also about how they fight back and they create their own history. That makes this book so bold that you will feel courageous, inspired after reading such books. And what I love about Banu Mushtaq's writing is she doesn't try any experimental form to present the story. These are written in a very simple, linear narrative structure which brings out the originality and authenticity of the people she is trying to write about. These women, most of them are underprivileged, they don't have access to proper education, and most of them do not have their own house or own money. So they are in society's standard very dependent on their husbands, brother, father, or son. And Banu Mushtaq has taken this task of presenting them as raw and as real as possible. It just broke my heart to see such characters because I know these characters are inspired from real life. There are countless women belonging to minority who go through this type of violence and microaggression and visible aggression every day, and it also makes you humble of your privilege, and it makes you think and care about these women who are voiceless because there was nobody who could have represented them in such a way. And I'm so grateful that Banu Mushtaq has taken the task to do that. The second story from this collection, Black Cobras, is the most favorite story of mine. It gives you a punch in your gut that I love, that I appreciate in good literature. And unfortunately, caste and religion are two of the most dominating forces causing violence in India everywhere. And the blow is faced mostly by the minority people, whether it's the minority from Hindu religion or from Muslim community. I love how she just simply described the stories without giving too much of her own opinion as an author. So she just passively narrated the story to us and let us decide what to feel. And that's a power move. It lingers in your head for a long time, even after you have finished reading a story. I'm done with my physical books from my reading wrapper. Let's move to the audiobooks I have listened in this 2 month. First, I have Tom Lake. Okay, I love Meryl Streep. I can even watch her sleep for hours. That came out very creepy, but you get my point, right? I adore anything Meryl Streep does, but even Meryl Streep's voice and her narration could not save this bland book for me. Tom Lake, written by Anne Patchett, is a story about a middle aged woman who is telling her daughters, who is narrating the story of her youth and her acting career and her brief affair with a film star named Peter Duke, who was not film star at that point, but later he has become very famous. And Emily, the elder daughter, thinks that Peter Duke is her biological father. So in this story, we are following these three daughters and this mother who is telling the story of her gone days. And it is so boring, so bland, nothing happens, no drama. And I was just bored. I didn't care about any of the characters because they are so vanilla. Nobody has distinct character. These three daughters, I can't even describe them. I can't even differentiate between them. Only Emily is more annoying and other two are less annoying and they are more understanding. But that's it. I can't give you any other character traits that they have. And the husband in this book, he is not present at all. Like he is there, but I don't know who he is and how his youth has anything to do with how he is now. And the story is dragged. It is so much dragged. Every time I left the book, I didn't feel the urge to come back to it. And that's the problem. I love slow paced, family oriented, coming of age stories. I know this is a very popular book as well, and Patchett is a popular author, and this book is very popular among the readers. But come on, there was no hook. There was zero hook. I couldn't make myself care about anything that happened in the book. When I first started this book, I really thought this is going to go somewhere. This is going to make some sense. But the more I read this book, the more it felt like House of Mr. Biswas by B.S. Naipaul. It's just dragging and unending. And there is no conflict, no character does something that is unexpected of them. Everything is so predictable. It feels like you have boiled your veggies and you are not allowed to add any spice, only salt, but you have forgotten to add salt as well.
One eternity later.
Is so predictable. It feels like you have boiled your veggies and you're not allowed to add any spice, only salt, but you have forgotten to add salt as well. Yeah, that's my opinion on this.
Yeah, that's my opinion about this book. So, moving on, let's not rant anymore. The next book that I actually loved is the second book in the Motherboard series by Martha Wells. It is called Artificial Condition. And I just loved this character so much. I used to think that contemporary sci-fi is not for me, and I used to think that I do not understand sci-fi, but this book has proved me wrong. This is hilarious. This is full of humors, and you will love the inner voice of this bot. This is a sick unit who is partly robot and partly human, and his job is to protect human beings who are going to research on dangerous planets. But the secret is he has hacked his governor modules, which keeps the sec units in control and gives the full control of their activities to the clients who hired them. But now this tech unit is independent. He is in full control of himself. And after a mission, now he is bored and he is looking for a project to use his expertise in that. And I loved this story so much. And the way he cares about human beings, like they are some fragile creatures and he wants to save the good ones, it will melt your heart. The books are very short, they are novellas, and if you are in a reading slump and if you are looking for something enjoyable and not so heavy, you can pick them up. I am absolutely obsessed with this character. And in these books, the author also questions the morality of making such units with a human organism where they can actually feel and think and they can feel pain as well. So, is it fair to make something like that? That is also a question which comes and goes in these books. So it is a very good experience. It feels like watching a fast-paced sci-fi series. So yeah, I loved it. I am waiting to read the third book in the series. Actually, I have started reading the third book. I am like 20% in, and I'm hoping to finish this series by the end of the year. So let's see what happens. That's all for today, guys. I didn't expect this video to be so long. I'm really sorry. I yapped so much about my books in this video. I just hope I haven't bored you like Anne Patchett has done. Sorry. That was rude. Okay.
Whoa!
See you soon. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button and let me know in the comment section how was your May June reading. Ta-da.